highlights. Lagos Task Force raids Obalende TBS terminal of criminal elements, apprehends 22 suspected criminals. Nigeria Center for Disease Control tightens airport surveillance following confirmation of Ebola outbreak in Uganda. And on the foreign scene, Queensland floods cut off crucial highway as Australian disaster worsens. And in sports, Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho set to join Middlesbrough on loan. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. In response to persistent complaints from residents of Obalende regarding the activities of hoodlums and miscreants who attack innocent citizens, the Lagos State Task Force has taken decisive action to restore safety in the area. This came against the backdrop of increased complaints by the management of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, who also sought the intervention of the task force as criminal elements had turned the TBS bus terminal into a hideout for their illicit activities. Operatives of the Lagos State Task Force, led by the chairman, Adetayo Akerele, raided the location and arrested 22 suspected criminals who possessed harmful weapons and hard drugs on them and had been using the terminal as a base to launch attacks on unsuspecting commuters and residents. Akerele reiterated the state government's commitment to ensuring the safety of Lagosians and maintaining law and order across the state. He warned that any individual involved in criminal activities or making life difficult for law-abiding citizens will face the full wrath of the law. The Lagos State Infrastructure Maintenance and Regulatory Agency, LASIMRA, is to update its database with accurate and comprehensive information on all communications, telecoms, radio, television, and security infrastructure within the state. Its general manager, Oyekomi Elegushi, says the effort will not only enhance regulatory oversight but also ensure the safety and well-being of all residents by identifying and addressing any potential structural or environmental concerns associated with masts and towers. The enumeration exercise of communication masts and towers, which commenced last Saturday, is expected to span a period of 3 months or more. It is being carried out in collaboration with the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria. Elegushi urges all stakeholders, including telecom operators, broadcasting companies, banks, security companies, property owners, and the general public to cooperate fully with the agency. The federal government has summoned labor leaders to a meeting today ahead of the planned nationwide protest by the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and its civil society allies. The Labour fixed Tuesday, 4th February for a nationwide protest against the 50% hike in telecommunications tariffs. The meeting is also to discuss NLC's opposition to the 8 billion naira government budgetary allocation for electricity bill sensitization, which the Labour movement described as the height of profligacy, wastefulness, and corruption. And now to the rest of the stories. Following the confirmation of an Ebola virus disease outbreak in Uganda, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has intensified surveillance at the country's points of entry, including airports. The agency also advised Nigerians to avoid non-essential travel to affected countries. In a public health advisory issued by the NCDC Director General, Jide Idris, the agency emphasized that there are currently no reported cases of Ebola in Nigeria, while classifying Nigeria's risk level as moderate based on recent risk assessments and the recent Marburg virus outbreak in Rwanda. The NCDC urged healthcare workers to maintain heightened vigilance, ensure strict patient isolation, adhere to infection prevention protocols, and use appropriate protection equipment when managing suspected cases. The NCDC pledged to continue strengthening nationwide surveillance particularly at borders and airports, while keeping healthcare workers alert for potential cases. The agency is also enhancing laboratory capacities for rapid testing and maintaining coordination with the World Health Organization and the African Regional Health Authorities to monitor development. It will be recalled that in 2014, Nigeria experienced an Ebola outbreak following the entry of an infected patient, Patrick Sawyer, from Liberia into the country. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says about 91% of loans obtained from banks by companies are performing. In its latest credit conditions survey, the CBN indicated that about 9% of corporate loans are non-performing, 4 notches above the Apex Bank's regulatory guidance of 5%. According to the report, corporate loan defaults stood at 9% in fourth quarter of 2024. It stood at 6.2% in third quarter, 2.8% in second quarter, and 4.5% in the first quarter of last year. The CBN outlined the factors contributing to corporate credit demand to include commercial real estate, balance sheet restructuring, inventory finance, capital investments, merger and acquisition. The Apex Bank said there were increased credit availability for corporate borrowers while secured lending to households dropped. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, and a high-level delegation from JP Morgan have met to review investment opportunities in Nigeria. The ministry revealed this in a statement by its Director of Information and Public Relations, Mohammed Manga, noting that the delegation was led by the head of JP Morgan West Africa, Dapo Olagunju. The meeting, which was held in Abuja, was part of a fact-finding trip aimed at exploring investment opportunities and economic strategies in the region. During the discussions, the minister highlighted Nigeria's recent economic milestones, including a successful Eurobond transaction completed without a roadshow due to strong global investor engagement. He emphasized President Bola Tinubu's ongoing efforts to attract foreign investment through strategic international engagement and reaffirmed the administration's commitment to market-driven reforms. Now to foreign news. Australian authorities are scrambling to help isolated communities in Queensland after a flooding emergency forced thousands of evacuations, cut power to homes and washed away sections of a vital highway. The flooding has claimed a woman's life and caused havoc across the state's north, with residents in Townsville, Ingham and Cardwell among the hardest hit. Downpours are expected to continue, with parts of the region already experiencing almost 4.2 feet of water since Saturday, causing rivers and reservoirs to overflow. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who was briefed about the response efforts on Monday, said the disaster had brought out the best of Australians, saying he saw them helping one another in their time of need. And British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is heading to Brussels to join a gathering of European Union leaders, the first time a UK leader will do that since Brexit. Starmer is heading over the English Channel for talks focused on defence and security cooperation and will also meet NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. The trip is part of what he calls a reset between the UK and the European Union. The government has promised the UK will not rejoin the EU single market or customs union or sign up to freedom of movement, but ministers want what they see as a better relationship on defence and security, crime and trade. They hope to sort this out by the spring and finalise it at a UK-EU summit, possibly in April or May. Now, sports. Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho is set to complete a loan move to Championship club Middlesbrough. Iheanacho joined Spanish club Sevilla on a free transfer last summer, but has struggled to make much impact at the club. The 28-year-old failed to register a goal in 9 league appearances for the team. Middlesbrough beat Scottish Premiership champions Celtic to the forward signature. Last season, the Nigeria international featured in the championship to help Leicester City win promotion back to the Premier League. And that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, ensure the registration mark on your vehicle is clear and visible at all times. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Watch us live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe and watch all our previous programs and news on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration provided 450,000 pupils with e-learning devices? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news are the highlights of the major stories. In response to persistent complaints from residents of Obalende regarding the activities of hoodlums and miscreants who attack innocent citizens, the Lagos State Task Force has taken decisive action to restore safety in the area. Following the confirmation of an Ebola virus disease outbreak in Uganda, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has intensified surveillance at the country's ports of entry, including airports. We also told you that Australian authorities are scrambling to help isolated communities in Queensland after a flooding emergency forced thousands of evacuations, cut power to homes and washed away sections of a vital highway. And in sports, Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho is set to complete a loan move to Championship club Middlesbrough. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to Lagos Traffic Radio at lagosstate.gov.ng. That is the news broadcast compiled by Adirayo Iduwolaya. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning.